Hi everyone, this is Mike, Belly Up Bait and Tackle. I just want to take a moment to discuss jigs with you. I just got done tying a whole bunch up. They're on the website now. I'm going to show them to you. But I have a feeling that a lot of people either don't understand a jig or they're intimidated by it. But jigs have been around forever. I don't have to justify how good of a lure a jig is. What I love about a jig is the versatility. And I'm going to tell you not necessarily the history of the jig, but my history with the jig and why, I like to make them and offer them to sell and why I fish them. So where my history with the jig started was with this little guy right here. My dad could tell you a lot more about it. He tied this. He's tied thousands of them, probably. But this is a little bucktail jig. This is all bucktail from a deer. It's dyed, and you buy it that way. These little heads, Lord only knows wherever he got these from. But these are all hand-tied by my dad. It's a very small presentation, maybe 2.5 inches long. Okay, nice little bushy profile. This one's black and red. And what my dad did, he would use Uncle Josh pork frogs, pork chunks, in size 101A, I think. And they quit making them, and I heard that they started making them again. So you might be able to get that exact thing. I'm not too sure. But in place of that, I have a little Zoom tiny chunk. And this is, I'm pretty sure, the exact same size as the Uncle Josh salty chunk, or little pork chunk, 101A. Okay? And it would be fished just like this. I don't think I remember my dad fishing any other way. Okay, just hanging right off the back like that. Alright, and I know that doesn't look like much of anything, but this thing is a smallmouth crushing machine, big smallmouth crushing machine. Many days on the river where I would be fishing a tube and catch 5, 6, 7 smallmouth bass, 12 inches, 14 inches, whatever, and say, what are you going to do now, old man? And at some point during the day while he's throwing this, he might catch 1 or 2, but they would all be 4 or 5 pound plus smallmouth. The biggest one that I remember was 22 inches. That's a pretty serious smallmouth, and it was all this bad boy right here. Okay, it's a mean little booger, and like I said, it's not a very big package. Okay, but for some reason, big smallmouth love this. Okay, what that turned into, my dad started making little football head jigs, the same exact way, pretty much same profile. Okay, same amount of bulk, same basic thing. And what I did was I went off on my own and got my own jig mold when I was young and started making my own. I don't have any early examples, but this is what it's evolved into. This is my personal jig that I tied for myself. I trimmed the weed guards up on them. This is a little bit older one. It's been used and abused. This is not a pretty jig by any means, but I have a little bit of orange flashaboo in there, tinsel, green pumpkin chartreuse. I just want to show you how versatile a jig can be. This is one of the tail molds that we use with our mud daubers. Now, I lose these from time to time because it's a very loose fit, but it fits on there very loosely, and it gives a nice, slender imitation. It's really good for swimming. You get a lot of freedom of movement back there. So that's always a good option, something like that. And this is just to kind of get your imagination going. There's many things you can use for a trailer on a jig. Another option is, this is a Fat Albert by Zoom. I think 4 or 5 inch grub. Another great option for threading onto a jig as a trailer. Thread that little bad boy on there. And these have wire keepers on them. Another thing that I added to it. Get that on there like that. And looky there. Beautiful, beautiful bluegill imitation. Drag that on the bottom, swim it along, twitch it as you reel it in, you know, keep it moving. I mean, it'll just crush fish. And jigs will typically get bigger bites. That's what they're designed to do, and they're very good at doing that. And there's all kinds of different ways to fish a jig. There's not really any wrong way to do it. Uncle Josh made a size 11 pork frog, and it was a lot. You can see, I don't think it's quite as big as the big salty chunk. But you can see the size comparison there. Pretty major difference. Okay, now this is a Zoom big salty chunk. In the future, I'm hoping to make my own chunk style baits like this, because the color options are a little limited, and I like to match stuff up to what I tie and the jigs that I make. But I'll go ahead and give you a sneak preview of what would that go up with. This is like a black and blue salty chunk. I don't have a black and blue on hand, but this is one that will be for sale. Green pumpkin with blue flake. Hopefully you can see that pretty good. But like I said, you would hang that off the back. I don't want to thread it on because this is for sale. But you would thread that on just right there in that hole, right there like that, and it would hang off the back. Sometimes, and this is where the wire keeper comes in, I'll thread these all the way on, and these big ones I would probably trim up the sides, cut a slice off here, slice off of here, and thread that the whole way on. Then you have a much more compact package. And like I said, whenever I get my jigs new or make them for myself new, I always trim the skirts to my liking. Now when I sell them with a full skirt. That is way too long for me. And I also trim up the weed guard a little bit. I can explain how I do that if you want to know, but it's all personal preference, something you have to play with. Another good option is the super chunk, which these are the ones that I really love to thread the whole way on, because these things are long. This super chunk, it's even a hair longer than the big salty. Okay, I love threading these up the whole way on, all the way up there. Okay, and you have these big long flappers in the back. Had a lot of success with that. This one, I don't even know if you can get these anymore. This is just another example to give your imagination like a jump start. This is not all the examples of a trailer. I mean, the sky is the limit. But I would do the same thing with that. You can either cut it off, trim it to fit, to however whatever profile you want. And obviously I make lures to sell, so I'm big into modifying, and a jig is pretty much what kick-started all that. Another option, and like I said, this is where the imagination part gets up. It's not all about mimicking a crayfish necessarily. It's more about profiles. Okay, so this is our logs, which is a Ned style bait, and you could thread that on as well. Okay, just like that. Actually, let me put it on. I'll thread it on my little, this is my jig. I don't want to be using all the stuff. I would line it up on the side right here, see where the hook's going to come out, give or take. And just like anything, we preach getting it on there nice and pretty. And I'm going to see if I can do that for you. The pressure is on. Ooh, a little rough. A little rough. Ugh, that's awful. But okay. And you can see just that little bit out in the back. That's solid blue. Okay? Look at that. And I'm telling you right now, a largemouth would eat that no problem. And that thing would go on the bottom, stand up like that. It's different because when people are throwing a lot of these, you know, they're used to that profile. Sometimes you got to switch it up, okay? Oh, and I've been using a lot of our mud daubers as trailers, okay? It gives it a really nice bulky, very bulky profile, which, I mean, when I fish a jig, I'm not fishing for 15-inch largemouth. I'm fishing for the biggest largemouth that'll bite that day, okay? So with these, if I remember right, I think and these pinch off real easy. So that just rips nice and clean right there, okay? And these appendages, I like to peel these off. Now, you can trim these to however you want to. You can rip these off just to have the claws. You can rip the claws off. You can rip these little legs off, which I like to do when I thread it on the jig. Rip these off. Just not really any need for them. I don't know, it's all personal preference. And these actually look pretty good. I'll actually sometimes take the scissors and cut little 45 cuts out of there. Don't have any on me, but we'll thread these on. And this is the 3/8 ounce model in this little bluegill imitation jig that we have. Okay, get that threaded on. And this is a very bulky profile. Okay, look how bulky that is. See how that skirt covers all that? It wants to flare the skirt out, make it bulky, okay? But that is a killer presentation. And like I said, when you get that thing on the bottom and just hop it just a little bit, make that skirt material moving around, very enticing to a bass, okay? It's a hard thing for him to pass up. It offers up a very large meal for the bass, that's for sure. But it is known as a big fish catcher. Now, I've caught some of the tiniest fish you've ever seen on a jig, okay? That's what I love about fishing. There is an exception to every rule, okay? I'm going to show you what we have done so far that is on the website right now. You've already seen the green pumpkin with blue. These are the economy jigs, and basically what that means is these are silicone skirt tabs compared to this one, which is hand tied on. It takes a lot more time, and it gives a little bit more pizzazz, you know, like the little bit of tinsel I put in there for myself. Just a little bit extra. It just depends on what level you want to take it to. So will this one catch fish and this one won't? No, that's not the case whatsoever. It's just seasoned to taste. It's whatever you want. And if you're just starting out, you need to figure out. You don't know what to season to taste if you don't go out and taste it first. So you got to go out and fish. That's the only thing. Yeah, so thanks for watching this. Hopefully this helped you out a little bit. If you need any further explanation on anything, please don't hesitate. I'm here to help. Fishing is a beautiful thing. It means something different to everybody. But it's truly special, and make sure you get your kids out there fishing, and everybody has more fun when they catch fish, so that's what I'm trying to do. Kids catching fish and keeping, because they have little teeny tiny attention spans, but this is geared more towards the bass side of it, and fall is getting ready to kick up. This is Mike with Belly Up Baits. Thank you so much for watching this. Y'all have a good one, and keep tight lines. I'm going to show you what we have done so far that is on the website right now. You've already seen the green pumpkin with blue. These are the economy jigs, and basically what that means is these are silicone skirt tabs compared to this one, which is hand tied on. It takes a lot more time, and it gives a little bit more pizzazz, you know, like the little bit of tinsel I put in there for myself. Just a little bit extra. It just depends on what level you want to take it to. So will this one catch fish and this one won't? No, that's not the case whatsoever. It's just seasoned to taste. It's whatever you want. And if you're just starting out, you need to figure out. You don't know what to season to taste if you don't go out and taste it first. So you got to go out and fish. That's the only thing. So we got green pumpkin with blue flake. This one turned out really well. I have these poured up into 3/8 and quarters. Quarters I would throw in shallower water, probably more for like your streams and rivers for smallmouth. And like I said, these are how they're going to come out of the package. I would definitely trim the skirt. I like to trim it a little bit past where the hook comes. Okay, so right about to the end of my thumb, give or take. And that's just a basic overview of what I do. But these black eyes are nice, and these are UV coated. These are economy jigs, silicone skirt ring, and this is brown pepper with an orange belly. Beautiful, beautiful jig. Love how those turned out. Let's see, we have, I think this one's avocado with orange flake. Another pretty one. These are pumpkin with green flake. Okay. I just have a whole tub of them over here, so I'm just kind of grabbing. I think this one's a quarter. And the 3/8 is going to look exactly the same, just with a little bit bigger head. Okay, pumpkin green flake. I love these ones. These ones, I don't put these eyes on everything, but they just look too good on this not to put them on. But these red eyes here, and this is black with red flake. Awesome, awesome. I love throwing black in muddy water. Black with anything. I mean, I've caught fish black and purple, black and blue, black and red. Black and chartreuse is probably my personal favorite. And I showed you what my dad's was black and red. Black in a jig is mashed potatoes and gravy. I don't know how else to tell you. We have brown with orange flake, and that's a 3/8. You can see the head size difference here. Not much of a difference, but there is a difference. I personally like a 3/8. If I can get, if the fish are biting or going to, I like throwing as big of a jig as I can to get away with. Not like something that you would throw in salt water, but I like throwing a bigger jig. Not like these little sissy jigs that my dad likes to throw. Don't tell him I said that. Let's see, what else we got here? Oh, this one, I'm all out of these, but I like this color. I've used a lot of this material. Chestnut brown, just pretty much an all brown, and it has some black in there. So it's like a shiny brown with black edges, and it gives this really nice black and brown look. Gorgeous little jig. Oh, yeah. So, motor oil, red flake, great natural looking color. And like I said, if you would ask Michael, which one would you pick? You know, I really don't know. It depends on water clarity and experimentation. You know, you just have to play with it. I would pick what jig sticks out to you and just fish it to death. And you're either eventually going to catch a fish with it, or I don't know, you're not. But all these colors, I don't tie anything crazy. I try to keep everything that looks like it would catch a fish to me. And a lot of these are proven colors, and I have a pretty good understanding of what will work and why it will work and when it will work. Here's a good one. If you like fishing for largemouth. Green pumpkin candy. Okay, it's got some green and purple flake in there. Hopefully you can see that. I think I might be missing some of those, but that's the bulk of those. And it's not just these. I have duplicates in different sizes all in here. They're all listed on the site. They just got to be packaged and shipped. Now, when I say an economy jig, they still have the wire keepers, but you're getting a silicone skirt, okay, that little ring right here. Now, the premium jigs that I offer on there have everything these have, but just a little bit of extra kick. Okay, these are all hand tied. Okay, they're hand tied on with a thread. Okay, and this is Midnight Silver Minnow. I tie this Flashabou Tencel in there. Not Flashabou, but I forget what it's called, but Tencel. Okay, and this skirt has a little bit of silver flake in it. It'd be really hard to see. In the sun, you could probably see it a lot better, but I think, yeah, that's a quarter. These turned out great. I got some of these for myself. I can't wait to fish these up at Raystown. And like I said, there's 2 quarters, 2 3/8 of that. And this one is probably my favorite. This is another quarter, but this is Midnight Gold Shiner. Okay, that gold tinsel in there, and with this black and gold skirt. I mean, you don't want to go over the top with the pop. I try to do just enough. If you do too much, and trust me, when I was younger, I did way too much, and it just, I don't know, I think it turns them off. Not saying it won't catch fish. Every dog has its day. But I try a time where they have just enough, okay? Now, I would fish these on the bottom or swim them, whichever. But yeah, I'd like to do a video on just going out and fishing.